Alright, episode 2 of the TUF Heavyweights. Basically, to start this off, we got our usual recap, and then we move into the issues with Roy Nelson and Rashad Evans. The coaching staff is right. You have to take training seriously, and I'm surprised that Roy Nelson has gotten away with this for as long as he has, because I think he trains at the Las Vegas Combat Club, which is a pretty good gym. Ricardo Perez runs it, and it's supposed to be a reasonably tight ship, so it's kind of weird that he gets away with this. The joking and laughing, I don't think is the problem that Jackson's coaches seem to think, and basically Nelson's personality would not work at Jackson's gym, and I think they're taking that a little too far. That being said, when they're skipping, you gotta be skipping. When they're practicing throws, you should be practicing throws. You should be holding up your end of the training, even if it's a little bit old hand for you, because repetition is what makes perfection. So I'm taking the coach's side. At the same time, I think they have to realize that, simply put, Nelson's a bit of a joker, and I don't think there's a way around that. We get the fight pick. We get Wes Shivers versus James McSweeney. Didn't like this pick from the beginning because, while it was a winnable fight with Wes Shivers, it was also a very losable fight because if you've seen his previous fights, he doesn't have the greatest gas tank, and McSweeney does have a gas tank. I mean, he's lacking in a lot of areas, but gas tank's not one of them, and he was gonna, push a bit of a pace that might tire Shivers out. But Rampage picked the fight. Going into it, I honestly didn't know who I expected to win because, Shivers it was a speed and technique versus strength and size. And when I was thinking about it, I'm like, Shivers could finish this in one punch. He had the definitive punch chance. He also had the definitive advantage in the ability to take this to the ground. He trains with Rich Clemente, so he has some ground game. And McSweeney, for a guy who trains with Jackson's, is a terrible ground fighter. You look at his fights, and his kickboxing doesn't even come out in his MMA fights because he seems to like the idea that he can be taken down makes him panic, I think, and he gets very sloppy. So we get into the fight, and basically everything I said comes true. Shivers, well, he had gas, got a takedown, got a pretty good decent attempt at a Kimura, or actually that was an Americana from half guard, which when you're as big as him, you can pull that off. Unfortunately, McSweeney got out of it, got up. I was a little surprised that only one judge potentially gave Shivers this round, because I thought Shivers did. When you look at the striking, it was pretty even. I mean, McSweeney threw a lot more, but in terms of what landed, it was quite similar. Towards the end, though, Shivers is getting really, really tired. There was a ball shot in there from McSweeney, which is always lovely. Started round 2. I was thinking, I'm not sure who won that round, and it appeared Rashad and Rampage more or less had the same point of view. Round 2, James McSweeney showed himself to be possibly worse than I ever thought he was. He would not engage a dead, tired Wes Shivers to the point of dominating a round. He theoretically won this round. I'm not even sure on that because Shivers had 2 takedowns. He got his back on one and mounted him. I wish he had landed some more ground and pound, but he was just so damn tired. Attempted a rear naked choke. One was a pretty decent one. And then McSweeney kind of finally worked his way out of it. McSweeney got up right away and then didn't engage again. And he wins the fight. I don't disagree with it. I don't agree with it. I thought there should have been a 3rd round, and which McSweeney would have won just because of how tired Shivers was. That being said, it was a terrible fight. We've had 2 bad fights. And we've yet to see, McSweeney's the first guy who hasn't gassed out horrendously of the three. I guess John Madsen didn't gas out horrendously, but he was gassed. Abe Wagner has an excuse. He lost a lot of blood, and that led to the gassing, I think. I think Abe, I've checked out Abe's other fights, and he seemed to have a reasonable gas tank for a man of his size. If you push the pace massively on him, he will gas, but Madsen didn't really do that. And of course, now we had Wes Shivers, who gassed worse than anyone, I think. Oh, we had the Rashad Rampage confrontation about we got to train now, and I kind of take Rampage's side on this because they're like, oh, it's what time are you supposed to start? 11:30. It was 11:35. Well, then get the crap out. I generally think Rampage went about it wrong, but at the same time, I mean, if it's your time to train, you want to train. We get the announcement for the third fight, Roy Nelson versus Kimbo. Hopefully this will be a better fight. It's a striker versus grappler, although Roy has some striking game. I mean, his boxing is kind of ugly to watch, but it's weirdly effective, and he's got a good chin. Kimbo does have some skills outside of boxing. He appears to be picking up some ground game, and he does actually have a reasonably good takedown defense. That being said, I don't really think Roy's going to have that much of a problem taking him down. So obviously I'm going with Roy Nelson, which is somewhat disappointing because, you know, I've said this the whole time. I don't really have anything against, you know, Kimbo. I had issues with the way Elite XC was promoting him, not with the man himself. Well, actually, I got a good chuckle out of Dana White's. Roy Nelson's a lot more well-rounded, which he is. And Kimbo's very explosive and can knock Roy out like that. I gotta say it, I don't like Kimbo's chances of knocking out Roy when Ben Rothwell couldn't do it. And the only man to have done it is Arlovsky, who has some pretty impressive power. Maybe he can't take the greatest punch, but his striking skills and power are very, very good. If I had to make a call on this, I'm going to go with Roy Nelson. Submission in the first is going to be my prediction. And this season will continue to go poorly for Rampage. We might get 2 fights next episode, though, because they announced it first. Either they're just going to go really, really hype this fight up, which it's a big fight. It's not the biggest in TUF history, because Kimbo's not some kind of legitimate top fighter. Better fights would have been Manny Gambiri and Joe Lozon, because those guys had a lot of creds. Probably more than in this instance. That's a good one. There's probably others, but I can't think. I guess Matt Serra versus Shoney Carter too was, you know, pretty big. Anyways, that's all for this episode. I'll see you next week unless I do a video before then.